Welcome to the Kaiser podcast series on applying world-class standards at a local level. In today's globalized world, it's imperative to strive for excellence in all areas of life. Achieving this could be a daunting task, especially for individuals and organizations operating at a local level. In this series, we'll explore the key principles and best practices that enable local communities to achieve global standards in their respective fields. You will receive insight and tips on how you can apply these same strategies in your own context. If you're an aspiring business leader looking to compete on a global scale, this podcast is for you. So join us as we explore the exciting world of world-class standards at a local level. Remember, this is Construction Kaiser, and we're impacting today towards a sustainable future. Welcome to the third episode of the Kaiser podcast series on applying global standards at a local level. For you to understand what that word global means, you need to go back to the last episode of our podcast and listen to the very brilliant people that we had on that show. Today, I have Joyce and Tosan, two young and energetic experts on quality management systems. They'll be telling us, sharing with us tips on how to apply the quality management system in small, medium, and large firms. Tosan and Joyce, I'm very happy to have you, and I will be reading their citation because these ladies know what it takes to be here. Joyce has over 7 years work experience as a QA/QC and QMS personnel. Please, when I'm saying QA/QC and QMS, just know that I have just collected my diploma on all of these things that we're talking about. So QA/QC is quality assurance and quality control, and QMS is a quality management system, which is what we're talking about today, with proven results in interpretation and implementation of ISO standards across the FMCG industry. She holds a first-class degree in applied microbiology and brewing from the Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Is currently a member of food safety team in Primer Corporation Limited and responsible for the GMP audit. That's the Good Manufacturing Practice audit, identifying RCAs, that is root cause analysis, and CAP analysis, that is corrective action, preventive action analysis, and system documentation in accordance to ISO standards. Tosan, on the other hand, is a resourceful and motivated management system professional with extensive experience. I'm talking over 11 years. And she adopts a customer-focused approach centered on quality in any organization's culture, and drives continuous improvement in managing successful quality management systems, occupational health and safety management systems, environmental management systems, and the ISO management system. She holds a bachelor's degree in chemistry from the Delta State University and is currently the head of system compliance in Construction Kaiser Limited. Oh, no wonder I know you. Where her expertise and passion consistently delivers positive change, resulting in improved output and increased satisfaction. Now, ladies, now that I've read this very glowing citation of you, I think it is high time that we, just go straight into the questions, because what our audience want to know really is how can they adopt quality management system. Before we start, I think we need to understand what the quality management system is, and I'm going to throw this at Joyce. Joyce, what would you say, or how can you describe the quality management system, and would you say that this can be adopted across board, that is across all industries? And so these are two questions in one. And who would you say are the most important roles in ensuring the success of the quality management system in any firm?
Okay, thank you very much. The management and entire team of Construction Kaiser Limited, I'm grateful for this grateful opportunity.
You're welcome.
All right, back to the question. Quality management system. There are different quality management systems in the world, but we're looking at the world class that's the most recognized, which is the ISO 9001 2015, the most recent. ISO 9001 is a fundamental management tool. It serves as a framework to set policies, objectives, procedures, and the aim is customer satisfaction. In one word, Quality management system is driving at ensuring customer satisfaction, conformity to product and services which your customers need. So for any business or organization who intends to have customer satisfaction as their key goal, must adopt quality management system. And back to your second question, you spoke about what is the relevancy or the importance to firms.
Yes.
Quality management system is important because it increases productivity, because companies who adhere to the requirements of the ISO standards will end up increasing their productivities. That is in terms of sales volume and their return on investments. Quality management system is also important to improve customer satisfaction. I mean, that is the key goal. Customers are satisfied when your performance exceeds their expectations.
Yes,
So quality management system, when you have it, you are meeting their requirements. At the same time, you are striving to exceed their expectations. Another relevant importance of quality management system is that it improves organizational culture. One of the fears of most of employees in the world at large is the fear of an organization who does not have an objective, who does not have goals, who does not have an intent or a vision statement. So people have this fear of the unknown. Where are we going to? Why are we here? When you have quality management systems, it enables you to set quality objectives. It enables you to set a quality policy, which tells you on the vision statement or the intent of the organization, and also shows you where you're coming in, your roles and responsibility in establishing quality management system. In addition to that, quality management system also help to improve continual improvement.
Yeah.
Every business wants to improve. We don't want
Yes.
to be where we used to be. Of course, change is constant.
Yeah.
So when you have quality management system, there are a lot of metrics. You are able to monitor your performance of your QMS, which when effectively implemented, you see that you are not where you used to be in terms of your system, your delivery, and above all, customer satisfaction. Thank you very much.
And I asked, who are the most important in the organization to ensure which roles are the most important to ensure the successful delivery of the quality management system in any organization?
Okay. Everyone is important in quality management system,
Okay.
but the most important are the
Yes.
top management.
Okay.
I mean, top management are the drivers.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do without the top management, because of course it's always they are the ones responsible to take accountability of the effectiveness of the quality management system.
Okay.
They're the ones to provide the resources for implementing your
Sure.
quality management systems. The top management are also the one that encourages process-based approach and risk-based thinking.
Okay.
So because when you're not given a forum to act, you don't come in. So top management also ensures customer focus, because they're the one that look at where are we going to, what strategy do we need to attract customers, how do we keep them,
Yeah.
what are our risk in the business. Quality management systems, top management are so important. One thing is establishing a quality policy.
Yeah.
An employee does not have any right or intent to develop where the business is going. So
yes.
of course, top management establish your intent, your vision statement, and set objective. And one thing they do is trying to align it with the context of the business and the strategic direction
Of that business.
business.
This is really, really insightful. I'm going to pretend as if I do not understand everything that you are saying, because I want to go to school. This is like a refresher for me. So honestly, hearing it from you is just giving me some nice vibes, I can tell you. And Tosan, coming to you. We've talked about top management, we've talked about the organization, and it's sounding to me like these are things that can only happen in big companies. So would you say that the quality management system is only reserved for the big guns, the shotguns, or can also smaller firms adopt the same system? And is this something that can be tailored to a certain to any firm as it is, or does it have a standardized approach that everyone has to conform to? Please, there are some guys here that just young entrepreneurs that would like to do things right, so they want to know, will this also be applicable in their own organizations, or do they have to wait till they have blown before they can adopt this?
All right. So a few weeks ago, I shared something on my LinkedIn regarding misconceptions about the quality management system. And this particular question happened to be one of those misconceptions. So some people believe the quality management system is for big organizations they believe it's cumbersome and all of that. Those were some of the misconceptions. But the truth is, it's a standard that can be implemented by any organization, irrespective of the nature of their product and services, irrespective of the size of the business and the complexity of their processes. But the most important thing is for you to understand your organization's context, for you to understand your purpose, what your business is all about, for you to understand external and internal factors that can affect your business, and also look for a way to monitor those factors so you can also be able to identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. So you know those aspects to work on and those areas that you need to keep improving. So it's a system that it's a management system that can be implemented for any business, irrespective of the sector. But the most important thing is understand your organization's context and streamline the quality management system to suit your own business operations. Streamline it to suit your critical processes. Like she mentioned, quality objective. Establish your policies, establish your quality objectives, and ensure you are monitoring all of these factors from time to time, because the quality management system standard is based on the PDCA methodology, which involves you planning. And in the course of planning, that's where you define the policy, the objectives, you define roles and responsibilities, you define the risks and the opportunities within the business. You also define the resources in terms of personnel, in terms of infrastructure, the environment, if it is suitable. So you don't need to you don't need to go online to, for example, get a standard operating procedure of a big company and you just try to adopt it. It doesn't work that way. You have to tailor it to your business, so you can actually work in that line and understand the impact it would have on your business. Thank you.
Well, for those of you that were listening, Tosan has told us that it's not the size that matters, it is the understanding. So you have to understand what your business is about, what the context of your organization is, and then you can now interpret it into the quality management system, and you're able to document all of those so that, anything or anyone can, read and understand what your business is about, and also ensure that you have periodic audits so that you are monitoring and ensuring that you are not going outside of what it is that you're supposed to be monitoring. Thank you very much for that, Tosan. Joyce.
Thank you.
This is getting interesting.
Well.
And for me, I think after this podcast, I'm going to ensure you sign my diploma in QMS again, because I would really say that any organization that is not planning or looking towards the QMS would just be there for a very long time till they realize that ensuring they follow steps, processes and procedures in a systematic way will get their business, to where it's supposed to be for those that are looking for growth, in their businesses. I would like to find out from you, what would you say, or how would you say that organizations can balance the need for the quality management system? Because now we can see that, some organizations, both big and small, are interested in ensuring that they are qualified, or they are certified rather, for the QMS. How would you say that these organizations can balance their need for the QMS against the need for flexibility and agility in ensuring that they are able to meet the ever-changing needs? The market conditions are always changing, the customer needs are always changing. So how can the quality management system ensure that they are flexible and they are agile in meeting these customers' ever-changing needs?
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Well, for meeting up these needs, as we know that customer requirements are evolving, because we're in an evolving world.
Every day.
And, humans wants and needs are insatiable. But what do we do as business to keep on track, to tailor ourselves down to fulfilling the main aim of the quality management system, which is customer focus? So I'll be looking at it in the angle of quality management system principle on customer focus.
Okay.
Now, for you to use the agility and flexibility, what agility does in quality management system is to develop consistent results.
Okay.
And what flexibility does there is to improve, for continuous improvement.
Okay.
So when you combine the fact that you want to increase results and at the same time you want to ensure continuous improvement, now you're also looking at the fact that whatever you're doing now is changing again. So it could be a bit discouraging. So what do you do now? It's tailoring it down to your customer focus.
Yeah.
So how do you go about that? You need to do research and analyze the needs and expectations of your customer. Because when you know their needs, you easily use your agility to drive towards that result.
I agree.
Then when you've analyzed what their needs and expectations are, you come back to the organizations and communicate these needs and expectations through meetings, from your quality policy intents through the objective. You can peg it to the different functionals objective on the needs and expectations of these customers. Then when you're done with that, you then, when they've known the need and the relevance that these are what our customers want, when they're online or wherever they are working, they have that objective in mind. This is what we aim to achieve. When you've achieved that, you now look for customer relationship. When your customers have relationship with you, they will even inform you on new innovations.
Yeah.
They'll tell you about new trends. I saw this also place. Are you people into this? Because I could vividly remember when there was need to lightweight packaging. If
Okay.
you notice that most packagings are being lightweighted.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm coming from
No,
the
it's
food
okay.
industry.
Yes.
So customers are the one coming up with, we are seeing that packaging are being lightweighted. And they believe, okay, since my cost of production can be reduced and at the same time I'll still achieve same results, meaning that's increments in sales volume.
Yeah.
So they adopted that. So when you have customer relationship, they're able to share even what is happening around with you. You know that many new product developments, your MPDs, most of them are gotten from customers' perception.
Yes.
Okay, now when you establish a relationship with your customers, you also try to strike a balance between satisfying these customers and at the same time satisfying other interested parties. Mind you that your customers are not your only interested parties.
Yes.
You also have your suppliers.
Yes.
These are guys that drive you around the supply chain.
Yes.
And whenever anything goes on, that customer focus on delivering good results are being altered. So when you are trying to satisfy your customer, you have to consider the fact that your other interested parties are also satisfied in terms of making them know what your intent and what you're driving at. So when you are able to achieve this customer focus, then you now look at it in terms of risk-based thinking.
Okay.
Because when you're doing quality management system and you're not identifying your
Risks,
you
yes.
tend to run at a loss.
Yes.
So this quality management system is highly comprehensive. But when you look at it at the needs and expectations of your customer, and then you look at it in terms of identifying the risk in the business,
Yeah.
you drive a long way, applying agility and flexibility. Because when you do a very good risk assessment, you understand that, okay, this is what my customer needs are, but these are the risks involved. Then it enables you to put a control in place to mitigate the sanction. Thank you very much.
Wow, we were talking about quality management system. We're talking about satisfaction of customers. We're talking about agility and flexibility and how we get the customer's feedback to improve our product or to improve our service. And then we jump into risk. Madam Tosan, it's beginning to sound a bit cumbersome to me. And I can say that one or two people have whispered in my ears that quality management system is quite cumbersome. And I want to find out, is that true? And if so, how can it be simplified?
Okay, so that quality management system is cumbersome. That's also a misconception.
Okay.
So the most important thing is being able to streamline it to your unique industry and the context of your business. And also, when it comes to the documentation,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily need to have too many documentation that are unnecessary. So you can go lean. So when I say go lean, things that are not necessary, you can cut them off
Okay.
and ensure you streamline your processes. You could also leverage technology
Okay.
to streamline your processes so it's easy for everyone and it drives efficiency.
Yeah.
So that's basically how it can
be simplified.
Be
So
simplified.
in fact, on-time, real-time would actually go a long way in ensuring that people adapt the QMS as a way of life or as a way of doing their things rather than waiting for a specific period to say, okay, I want to put my documentation together or something like that.
Then, sorry to cut you.
Yes, ma'am.
There's also the place for constant engagement and awareness.
Okay.
So when it comes to the quality management system, everyone have to be involved
Okay.
and engaged at every point in time. Because one other misconception that I talked about in my post, it had to do with that it's just about getting certified. Then what next? So for some organizations, they get certified and people go back to the old ways of doing things, and there's no continuity, there's no consistency. So it's important that we have that constant engagement, that everyone understands their roles and responsibility in the implementation. So we are all on the same page. We are moving towards a common goal, and it becomes second nature. So without that constant awareness, there may be a challenge with the implementation and driving it down to all process. And it has to also come from top. So that commitment, that top management commitment has to be there for everyone to understand this is the vision. This is our statement of intent. This is our policy. This is the direction we are going to. These are our objectives. And everyone will also work in that direction, and it becomes seamless and easy for everyone.
Wow. Tosan has just demystified QMS. I want to find out, when we're looking at it from a business angle, Joyce, when we're looking at it from the business angle, investors, shareholders, business owners, one of their, I'll say maybe their key objective is return on investment. So I have put up this these resources to set up this business. I want to see how I can make, some ROI out of it. So would you say that with us now understanding that we need this QMS in our organizations and how we have understood that customers are important, and by customers, we don't just mean people that buy our product, but also the entire value chain. And we have also understood that this thing can be simplified, or it actually should be simple. It's not supposed to be something that is cumbersome. So would you now be able to encourage shareholders or business owners on how going this route is important and how they can actually see their ROI? And when the ROI happens, how can it be measured effectively? So I want to be able to say that, okay, I invested 100 million in this business and I want to see how QMS will bring 20 million out of it at the end of the year. So is there any way that, this can happen?
Yes. I know every investors want to hear this. So of course, why would I want to do quality management system? What is in it? What do I stand to gain from it? You don't just sit on my table to tell me pay for QMS budgets and this is the budget we have for the year. You need to train this, you need to bring auditors, and these auditors are going to charge us, and we don't even end our certification. You have to go through recertification, surveillance audits, all that. No top management wants additional resources and extra time to waste. The aim of every business is to make profits. So, but I will stand to say that quality management system, the actual profit you are looking at is in quality management system. Okay. When you look at quality looks like something that isn't measurable. You might not be actually seeing, I invested 10 million and I'm getting 20 million. That's financial terms.
Okay.
So now for quality are things you can't really measure. But there's been this new model that people can actually use. You can use as a convincing factor for investors. And this is looking at quality on using some of your quality approach. Quality approach looks about quality models. And these models have 4 types of costs. So you have your preventive costs. Okay. You have your appraisal costs. You also have your internal failure costs. Okay. You then have your external failure costs. Okay. Now, for your preventive costs, you are looking at the costs you spent on training people, cost for bringing in auditors. You are looking at your cost for getting ISO standards, cost in quality planning. Those are that on that preventive cost. Now you're also looking at your appraisal cost. Your appraisal cost is cost you spent to get the certification in actual, because one is to bring the auditors, another thing is to get certified.
Yes.
You also look at cost you've invested on people to become competent in achieving that QMS. Now, you also look at your internal failure costs. Your internal failure costs are costs that would arise from returns. You do it, you don't do it right, the customer return it back.
Okay.
You're also looking at on rework. You didn't, okay, you don't, this is not how I want this construction to go, like in your space.
Yes.
Okay, you have to do
I know what
rework.
you're talking about.
Yes. So rework will go in. So that's a lot of time and additional expenses.
Yes.
Now you're now looking at your external failure costs. Your external failure costs could arise from your warranty claims. You might say this building, I'm giving you 100 years and something happens or so. You've lost. That's lost on the business. So if you compare your preventive costs and your appraisal costs, you actually see that it's less expensive compared to treating internal failure and external failure costs. So I guess when you look at this quality model, you want to invest on quality management system because it helps to remove this, eliminate some of these errors in businesses. It helps to streamline your processes that everyone gets to understand what is expected. So your quality management system will help you to do things efficiently.
Yeah.
And also help you to monitor the performance of your processes, your products, your policies through management reviews and other monitoring metrics.
Yeah.
So by so doing so, you are able to achieve the fact that there are no returns from customer. Your customer satisfaction is being improved because, of course, your quality management system gives your customer forum to report, get feedbacks.
Yeah.
Because part of the course requirement for the ISO is that customers are involved in your design and development.
Okay.
That is clause 8.2.2, really stressed on that.
Okay.
Provision relating to product and services. Some of them comes from customers, some could be your innovation. So customers are really driven into the quality management system. And because they understood where and how we started, of course, you attend to, when there are complaints, they relate it back to you.
Yeah.
There's an effective root cause analysis
Yeah.
under handling of non-conformities.
Yeah.
That we're talking about your clause 10.1. So when you're handling your non-conformity, you are putting a control measure in place, that you are doing a good corrective action plan. Those corrective action plan target your root cause analysis, so there are no reoccurrence in the future. You save costs. You've gotten your customers. Of course, your return on investment is sure.
And in the construction space, I'll say that one of the biggest ways that we measure ROI is actually repeat jobs. Because for us, when a customer is happy, and by customer I mean a client, is happy with what we have done, or a consultant is satisfied with how we performed on a project, they will always recommend us for the next project and the next project and the next project. We do have quite a number of repeat customers, on our portfolio, and I will say that the QMS has helped us to get there. And by us, I'm talking about Construction Kaiser, who is turning 30 this year, by the way. Anyway, Tosan, and this session for me has been really interesting, and unfortunately, for everything that starts, every good thing that starts will come to an end, and we're now wrapping up and getting to the penultimate question. And that question I want to ask you is, what advice, because we've talked about everything. So if there's an entrepreneur, a budding entrepreneur that is listening to us and is thinking, oh, okay, I think this thing sounds interesting, I want to, adopt this in my company. What advice would you give such entrepreneurs in engaging, or in getting them to be interested in the quality management system and adopting it in their organization? And what are the key steps that they need to take to be able to achieve that?
Okay. So when it comes to the quality management system implementation, my advice for small businesses is to, I'm going to give the advice and the tips. So my advice for small businesses is to see how they can first understand their organization's context, like I said earlier, and do like a gap analysis. So by gap analysis is you understanding where you are in terms of how you are meeting the requirements of the standard now, and the areas where there are gaps. So when you're able to do that analysis, it makes the implementation easy for you. So you're coming up with a plan that details when you're going to close out all of those gaps and establish your quality policy, your quality objectives, the timeline where you're going to document your procedures and identify the risk and opportunities. When you've been able to meet all of that, you also come up with when you're going to carry out like an internal audit of your system. But before you do that, definitely you must have conducted awareness and you have trained internal auditors in the system to be able to carry out all of this. I know mentioning all of these steps, it looks like it's a whole lot, but my advice is it takes commitment, it takes involvement of all stakeholders in the business to be able to achieve all of this. So there has to be that commitment from top down, constant engagement by all parties. Mm-hmm. Then communication also plays a vital role in all of this, because one of the major challenges with implementation of the quality management system is resistance to change. And when people don't understand why you are doing what you're doing, there's every tendency that they would not even want to go with the flow. So resistance to change, poor communication, not having realistic goals and objectives. These are some of the challenges with the implementation of quality management system. So when you're able to understand all of this, you have good communication channels, you create internal awareness, everyone understands where they are, roles and responsibilities are assigned at every point in time. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Then there's the system won't be complex. So there's a story that I usually share, the story of everybody, anybody, somebody, and nobody. So when there was an important task to be done and everybody thought somebody would do it, but at the end of the day, nobody did it rather, and somebody got angry that nobody did what anybody could have done. So at the end of the day, it speaks to accountability. Yeah. So if you want to go on this journey, that commitment has to be there. So you don't start and stop halfway. So quality management system implementation, it's actually a journey. The certification is just a milestone, but the continuous improvement journey is the most important aspect. In my introduction, I talked about the PDCA cycle, but I didn't finish it.
Yes,
so I talked about
just the planning. Yes.
So after planning, establishing all of the metrics, your procedures and all, you have to implement all that you planned. So in the course of implementation, you for example, you documented that you are going to be carrying out in the planning phase, you had objectives, you had standard operating procedures. In the implementation phase, you are now implementing all that you've planned. Then after planning, you also need to check again, because it's going to be a futile effort if you plan and you implemented and you are not even checking. If you don't check, how are you going to improve? So when you check, you are able to look at your planned versus your actual, so you know where you are at every point in time. And these are some of the things we do in Construction Kaiser Limited. So we don't just plan and implement, but we check from time to time. We carry out customer feedback analysis, we carry out management reviews, we carry out internal audits to actually check where we are from our initial plan, and after that we act, which is improvement. So it's a continuous improvement journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tosan. And I would say that, yes, we do all of that in Construction Kaiser, and I wonder where we get the time to actually even do any work. But please don't take my word for it. QMS is really interesting, and I think that these ladies have demystified what the quality management system is all about. And with this, I would like to, quickly bring this podcast to a wrap. But before I do that, Tosan mentioned her LinkedIn. Please, I'm going to repeat her name, Tosan Osai on LinkedIn. And then Joyce is Joyce Chineye Ikedima on LinkedIn as well. You can follow them and, get some tips on how this QMS thing can happen for you, and you can take it up from there. Thank you so much for your time. Joyce and Tosan, I was really, really engaged during this podcast because I just kept on nodding my head. You guys were just saying nothing but the truth, So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the knowledge that you have shared with us. And I will look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Kaiser podcast series on applying world-class standards at the local level. We hope you've gained valuable insights and practical tips for improving the quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of your organization's operations and services. The podcast series is brought to you by Construction Kaiser Limited, impacting today towards a sustainable future.